Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Spooky. We're doing another Stadium Build video today. This is the first one of Torb, day one of the new season, and we have cooked something great for you today. Surely to be one of the tried and true builds. We're going to start with this with Mag Mini, which is when you overload, gain 2 ammo of Molten Core with 66% reduced damage and duration. We're going to grab that. Then we're going to lock in ammo reserves, charge plating, and plasma converter. Now, if you've seen my tracer builds, you know that the auto recall, or the pulse, the mini pulse, triggers a lot of things. It also triggers with Torb build with this as well. So anytime you overload, you're gonna pop off this, like a little bit of your ultimate, like gets too little of these things. That actually triggers a lot of things, including in this build, charge plating. So we grab charge plating early. We're going to be holding on to it for a while. And that is why we grab this Mag Mini now, so we can skill a lot of things later, such as Biolight Overflow, Iridescent Iris, and things like that. Now, this build is called the Smorgasbord build because it is a combination of several different things that all work together to make an amazing build. So we're going to talk about each of those aspects in that build today as I'm playing. And we'll I won't stay too distracted for you. We're going to talk about how this all work together. We'll also just talking about Torb in general. How we feel about them. Coming in now, obviously we also have Sojourn and Hazard. So we'll be talking about all those different things in this video. So strap in. Obviously the build code is going to be included in the description for you. So if you would like to grab that build code, feel free to go into the video right now. Down below. Grab that, copy it, import it into your builds so you can use it later on. And if you want to, you can follow along on your computer as well. All right, so massive picks here. Open it up a little bit on the point. I got the turret on an off angle just from the objective, so it's not directly in line of sight from everybody. Don't be afraid to use this right click when you need to. Now, overdrive is kind of the core of this build. I don't think I can fight that by myself there. There we go. Throw Lucio on there. Might go down to this Sojourn. 25 HP in a dream. Okay, let's play a little slow so we can get that turret up. There we go, turret's up. Press the overdrive. Spam out that shield for a little bit. I'm going to keep this cross angle for a little. Just got to dodge that fire strike. Molten Core ready to go. We'll have, I believe we'll still have when we get up, so it's pretty good. There you go. And keep these cross angles. Really good. Torb's really solid at locking down like big angles. He's got a lot of really good damage. He does 70 damage per pellet shot, which is the same as Cassidy. He just has a higher rate of fire. So obviously you have to handle with like the drop of his weapon. So that is and it's a projectile too. But man, if you can hit your shots, you're just a rapid fire Cassidy when you're playing Torb. So locking down angles like that, it's a really good way to get a lot of good value with their weapon here. So again, talking about Smorgasbord. It's actually a Swedish word we found out, which is perfect for this build. Which I assume means a combination of a bunch of different stuff. You know what? Maybe we'll look it up during this video.
Smorgasbord.
A buffet offering a variety of hot and cold meats, or in Swedish, is a table full of different sandwich offerings. It literally means butter goose table. Together, find out what smorgasbord really means. But it's kind of a combination of like survivability, AP, weapon power. It uses some gadgets in there as well. So it's kind of a combination of a lot of things to make for a really fun experience, but also be really good. It's a really solid build to get a lot of really consistent value with Torb. It also keeps you on your feet. It's a lot of pressing buttons really rapidly, so definitely feels like you're going to be doing a lot of stuff while you're playing it. All right. Lock down the cross angle, get this turret out of here. Looks like he invested in the tiny little turrets. The tinny turrets, if you will. Got more on point. There you go. Don't be afraid to not sleep on the right clicks. They're pretty large. Especially when the fights get kind of crazy. I like to get these right clicks just to make sure I can proc a lot of things. And again, we'll talk about this as this build scales. So we take the first round here. Now, if you guys have not checked, Stadium did get an update. They're no longer on the best of 7 matches format for competitive. They are now on the best of 5, which is going to be matching with the quick play, or what we'll call unranked now at this point, for the time being. So we're basically working with what we got on quick play. So it's going to be quicker builds each round, basically new power except for round 4 as we build into these. All right, so for our second power, this is Let Off Some Steam. This is a massive power. You can interchange this with Mag Mini if you want to grab this first, just to get some more damage early on. I like to grab Mag Mini just because I want to proc some extra armor and some extra ability power really early on. So I grabbed that early, but again, you can switch these around if you'd like. Now, letting off steam is while Overload is not active. Anytime you do weapon damage or weapon healing, it's going to reduce your overload cooldown by 10%. All right, then we're going to grab BioLite Overflow, Multi-Tool, and we've got enough for field support, so we're going to grab field support. So I just want to grab these real quick and we'll talk about them. Now, BioLite Overflow is anytime you use your ultimate, you're going to gain 75 overhealth for you and anybody around you. That does mean if you press this right here, everyone in your vicinity is going to get 75 overhealth. That's massive. That is a massive, massive thing to be able to proc every time you press overdrive. So play near your team with this build a little bit more if you can, especially the tank, just to get him a little bit more AP or overhealth. It's going to get him a lot of survivability in the match, and you get a lot of opportunities to do like right click stuff like that. Going down to the gadget, we have that bound to one of our mouse buttons. We have a little, it's like basically a little mini biofield. 50 healing per second that you can get for a tiny little AoE. Another reason why you'd want to play near your tank a little bit. Let me see if I can get the shot. Oh, no, Sojourn. Sojourn's going to Sojourn us. Another reason to play near your tank. It's not a massive healing thing. Again, you can kind of like switch this out for something else if you want. I personally like to do it for a bonus little self-sustain for myself. Whenever I feel like I'm kind of in trouble. And it gives me another button to press, and I like pressing buttons in this game. Makes me feel like I'm doing better, you know? Kind of keeps my APMs up a little bit too, so it keeps my like reaction time when I have more stuff to do. So you can kind of drop it wherever you want. And there's no animation for it, obviously it just plops down on the ground for a little bit. But again, it's something you don't have to get. If you want to replace that with something else you feel more comfortable grabbing, feel free to. We need to cap our point. I don't want to leave my team out to dry while we're capping because they'll get wiped and then they'll flip this back over. There you go. Try to take that turret out for him. Looks like we're doing pretty okay. Keep this turret up here for a sec. Well, Lucio goes down. That's completely fine. All right, massive cap. Hopefully we can show this one around here. Again, using this overdrive often, it's really good for just spam damage. Gets you a lot of survivability. As I die on the ground. Hopefully we got a res, actually. I would love to get resed again. I would feel honored with another res. All right, massive Hazard ult. If you guys have been playing it all, you've probably noticed Hazard's a pretty strong tank right now. It's got a really large amount of damage. Sig also got a buff, and he's been kind of running some lobbies lately. Sojourn is rampant regardless. Not that anybody's surprised by that. So like Torb is probably the weakest drop. Like by what's a good word for it? He's probably the weakest drop just because he's overshadowed by everybody else. You kind of have to try a little bit harder with Torb to get some good builds. This one, I'm telling you, you really just shoot. You use your overdrive basically on cooldown whenever you have engagements. You shoot, you play near your team, and trust me, you're going to do fine. Just press those buttons. I usually like to just throw a turret back a little bit behind where the fight's going on. You don't have to do like any like super creative off angles because a lot of times you're creating the pressure up front anyways, so you're kind of being shot at. Your turret should be fine. So I just like to throw it a little bit behind where I'm going to be playing so it can support me as I'm kind of taking that engagement a little bit. So round 2 is ours. Hopefully we can get maybe if the enemy team can at least get maybe a couple of rounds. I would love to take this to round 5 so I can really talk about all of it. But again, the nice thing is that we get to show at least the first 3 major parts of this build and how they work. So next power for Smorgasbord is going to be come get your armor. And that is every time you overload. Sorry, I've been saying overdrive. Every time you overload, you're going to throw 2 armor packs that grant armor equal to 20% of your max life. And armor packs do not stack, which basically means you're going to throw 2 packs. You'll probably pick up one yourself, and then it's going to go to somebody on your team. And if you're playing near your tank, you're basically going to constantly be feeding them armor packs as you play. Every time you do that overload, you're going to feed them armor packs. You're going to feed them BioLite overflow over health of 75. And it's just going to be it's going to be great sustain for your tank. And then you can always drop your field support near him if you want to give him a little bit extra healing. Again, not necessary. I just like it. It's fun. And it upgrades into some other stuff. I'm going to keep charge plating though. I'm going to get rid of ammo reserves now, and we're actually going to go to Rivet Refresher, which overload gets you additional ammo, and then the reload speed increases as well. And then I'm just going to grab Icy Coolant here to get us some more weapon damage and cooldown reduction. So that cooldown reduction that we've got going on right now is going to keep our overload going more often, and then the abilities that we have are going to refresh that even quicker. So we should be able to overload. My god, it's overdrive, overcore, or overload. It's one of them. We're going to be able to do it more often. So don't be afraid to spam this out. You don't have to hold it for like really good moments, because again, you're going to get it back pretty quickly. So you should be fine. Let's get this turret out here too, just in the back. So you can see we kind of dropped that armor there too. Take these strong angles, spam it out. Overdrive's ready to go again. Spam it out again, and just keep this pressure, kind of work them down, especially on these payload maps. Really, oh, okay, we're good. Almost saved ourselves with that turret too. Let's drop one of these biofields just to get some extra healing. Overdrive's ready to go. Spam him out. Get that lead time in there. Now again, if it's your first time playing Torb, give yourself a little bit of time to get used to it. Obviously the bullet drop and the projectile speed, it's going to take you a little bit to getting used to if you're not familiar with Torb, or if you've like not played him recently. So don't be afraid to, like, you know, if your first couple games are kind of rough, don't be afraid. Just, you know, give your brain a second to like get used to it, get that muscle memory working so you can really lock it down. But just work on really like keeping your spacing, locking down angles, making sure you're pressing your buttons. That's the big one, right? Make sure you press those buttons. Abilities unused is value lost. So I'd much rather people use their abilities often and like not at great times than to not use their abilities at all. So that's like, honestly, I'd say that's a lot of like lower elo players. That's kind of one of their big issues, is that I feel like they have to hold all their abilities for the right time. As long as it's an okay opportunity, most abilities in the game, just use them. Use them more often. Try to get more value. Overwatch is kind of like a net. It's like a value game, right? It's who can get more value over time, especially these longer engagements. So don't be afraid to use them. If you find an opportunity, especially with this build, to use overdrive, overload, whatever it is, use it. Back it up. Pop that turret down. So we got armor out. That's what I kind of like out of this build, is it's like a lot of passive value. You get a lot of it when you press that overload, your E button, right? Your ability 1. You get a lot of that value once you do that. You don't even have to think about it. You don't got to like aim it at anything else. Everything goes out right in front of you, and you just press buttons, man, and you get this thing done. It's a lot of fun too. I gotta say, having fun with it is a huge benefit. If you're not having fun with a character or a build, I guarantee you it's not worth it to play. You're probably not gonna be playing, like, you're not gonna be focused as much, you know, when you're getting bored. So that's why I was really wanting to make sure the builds that I drop for you guys are at least somewhat enjoyable. You know, they're like 90% like pure value and like effectiveness, right? And then at least 10% fun, you know? If it's extra fun, then that's just like a bonus thing. So you can see I'm kind of playing cat and mouse with this, using that speed. I'm gonna drop a little biofield. Doesn't mean you have to play in it, right? If you need to back up, that's fine. Let's drop a turret back here a little bit once they push up. Get some pressure on that shield. Overdrive ready to go. There's some armor for my tank to pick up. Watch out for that Sojourn rail. There we go. That's massive. I think we just take the dub there. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really do too much damage there at the end, and the credits don't tell a full story. But I'm telling you, This build has been proven to be extremely effective. We ran it, I think, 3 or 4 games now, and we've won all of the games. We've gotten top credits, we've gotten mid credits, we've gotten low credits, obviously, here. It just gets passive value. It gets sustain for your team. It gets armor for your team. It gets great damage. Plenty of pressure with like added like lava on the ground. It's a bunch of cool things. Now I'm going to talk about the rest of this build because there is 1 or 2 more things in there that we just need to clarify. So when you go into it, you know how these work. So we're going to talk about them real quick because we did not get to the next part, which was in this build. Smorgasbord. We have Phantasmic Flux. And honestly, I'm probably by the time you get this build, I'm probably going to move Iridescent up a little bit. Iridescent works the same way as Charge Plating and works the same way as BioLight Overflow. Anytime you use your ultimate, you get 100 overhealth for yourself. This also comes with AP and cooldown reduction, which helps as well. And that's going to give you 100 overhealth every time you use your overload, essentially, as well, which gives you even more sustain. So if you need sustain, Iridescent Iris is fantastic. Now, this doesn't affect your team like BioLight does, but it's really, really solid self-sustain. So if you're wanting to grab that, feel free to do that. Phantasmic Flux, obviously a super good value item that has never changed since the beginning of Stadium, and especially when you're doing split builds, which this is a split build. It's got weapon power, it relies on ability power, and you're doing damage with both. So those life steals are both going to come in handy, and you can get overhealth with it. Massive value item that you can grab. So if you're feeling like you don't need too much sustain, then you can get Phantasmic Flux to get some more power and lifesteal. This is also, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. This is also a fantastic item if you want to get more duration for your overload to kind of narrow the amount of time you're off of your overload. And when you are, you also get 20% attack speed. Great item in this build. These are all super good items. Like, I want to say everything in this build is like a must-have, must-buy, except for field support. And then obviously Super Flexor, this gets you your 10% weapon power and then 25% ability power once you proc it with weapon damage. And if you hit somebody with one of your shotgun blasts, it procs all of it. So I'm telling you, it's super easy to keep this up to its full 25% AP stacks for Super Flexor. Fantastic build. You cannot go wrong with this. Try it out today. Don't be scared. Go on aggressive when you got enough sustain. Help out with your tank. Move around the map. And most importantly, have fun with Stadium, guys. In Torb, we're going to be coming up with some more builds, so make sure to subscribe for Torb. We've got updated Brig builds coming, May builds. We've got Sojourn builds, Hazard builds, all coming at you guys. So if you want to be up to date with everything in Stadium and the best builds that you can get at the current time, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpookyShow. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.